Give me some of that long. Hard. Rock. What kind of show do you think this is? Geesh. Classic rock, hard rock, and heavy metal from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Plus, stick around for Plug-In, where we support independent artists one song at a time. Take it like a man from a woman who knows music. It's time for RockGasms with Jenn Mitchell.
Hi, this is Debbi Blackwell-Cook.
Hi, this is Phil Collen from Delta Deep and Def Leppard, and you're listening to RockGasms with Jenn Mitchell.
Back in January, I had the opportunity to talk to Phil Collen and Debbi Blackwell-Cook of the bluesy rock band Delta Deep. Back then, their project was brand spanking new, and although their album isn't due to officially be released until this fall, they checked in to discuss how they connect with soul and blues music.
It's a very primal thing. As funny as it is, and we joke about it, the emotion, sometimes it kind of evokes sexuality, whatever. It evokes emotions one way or another, and that's really what you want to do. You know, that's why they called soul music, although we haven't got much of it around anymore. So it's kind of really nice to be able to go back to that kind of, that way of expression. You know, it's all been about the music business and very sterile over the last probably 15, 20 years. And it's kind of nice to go back and actually do what we're doing for the right reasons. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Right, and the blues is music in its rawest form, and I think people really don't realize that when they're listening to rock and roll or music outside of that genre, because really the roots of rock and roll really formed from the blues.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say Little Richard was the first hard rock singer. And I sincerely believe that. And, you know, that came from literally straight from blues, which was, you know, a voice. You know, it was actually an expression that came out of pain and everything, and you actually heard that. And you can't really stylize that. You can just take the inspiration, and that's really what we're doing. I really get upset with a lot of music where they just go into the style of it. They don't actually go into what the actual real mechanics of it are, you know, and social commentaries like punk, the original rap music, or kind of, you know, again, you know, blues was a voice. It was actually a political, social voice actually trying to get something out. And you actually hear that, and I think that's really what we're tapping into, and basically, you know, stuff that makes you feel, music that makes you have goosebumps when you listen to it, and just drawing from all that emotion and inspiration. So that's really where we're at, and we're just loving that process.
Yeah, it's truth. It's all truth. You know what I mean? It's singing your truth.
Phil, with you being involved in a blues-based music band, there are quite a few people out there that are still a bit surprised to learn that you've got this type of project going on.
That surprises me, you know. It's like, you know, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards met each other on a train station. They were disciples of the blues. They would have these albums that you actually couldn't get in England. This is like 50s, early 60s, you know, these guys that were just like totally into like Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, and later Chuck Berry and stuff like that. And they basically formed an appreciation society, which ended up being the Rolling Stones. The same thing with Led Zeppelin. And both of those bands absolutely influenced. Deep Purple, another blues-based band. It was the first guitar player I ever saw in my life was Ritchie Blackmore. And this was very much blues-based rock and roll. So to me, it seems pretty obvious. And you know, the great thing about us is we actually, people say, well, what does it sound like? And it's like, whatever we want to do. We have no restrictions. I mean, Man Race is like that as well. We sometimes get questions there. But this is an expression. And like I said, you know, we actually was playing yesterday, and it actually sounded like a raw, harder rocking version of Led Zeppelin, which is, you know, blues influenced band. You know, I can't see why people wouldn't see the direct correlation, because it's like, you know, if you trace it back, Def Leppard, hugely influenced by Deep Purple and Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones, and those guys totally influenced by the blues. We're just getting it third hand or fourth hand, it doesn't really matter, but it's the pure inspiration of it. It's, like I said, it's not the style, it's actually the expression of it that we're interested in.
It's hard to deny the unbridled, raw, soulful expression that Delta Deep creates so powerfully and without effort, which is quite evident from this acoustic version of their cover of Muddy Water Blues.